Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of For the Most Part podcast. And Louise in the background. Boop, boop, turn the clap, long time. Yeah, make sure and get that in post, please. She do a whole turn the clap. So, today we want to start off firstly by introducing the guest. Formidable. Well, what was he what I'm looking for? She just real popular. Definitely a triple threat in the performing arts. Yes. We had her on end of season 3.
Yes.
Or close to the end of season 3.
Yes. Oh, by the way, she has been called a triple threat by professionals.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's a whole thing.
She really has.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just call her the everythingist.
Yes.
Her name is Miss Cherysh La Touche, vocalist, and she was on close to the end of season 3, and we were talking about sampling.
Yes, we were.
Sampling in musical theatre, and it just felt right to bring her back to talk about the topic on vocal aging and degradation.
Yes, and how voices just change over time, regardless of what. Because aging is a thing.
Like how Louise' voice singing right now.
Just to reintroduce Ms. Cherysh La Touche, she is a graduate of the University of the West Indies. Singer, educator, actress.
On and on and on.
Accolades include the role of Maria in West Side Story with Muscomsey Productions. I just like to introduce her this way because, yes, Miss Cherysh La Touche, ladies and gentlemen.
Cherysh, welcome. How you going, my sister?
I'm good. I am a little tired physically, but mentally I'm on kind of a robot mode. That life has created for itself. So I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm trying not to complain. I'm good.
That's good. All right. So I want to dive right in. I think Louise and I, like last time we were talking about like how age plays a factor in terms of how a voice may change over time.
Yes, we didn't discuss it at length. What we really spoke about was vocals. What was that discussion? Like vocals in general, right?
Vocals in general. It was like a real brief overview.
Yes, it was a real brief overview of vocals, but we never really got into the part of, how does the aging work? And in fact, in the last episode, we were saying how Mariah, if you look at 90s Mariah, when she was like, barely 19, 20.
In her prime.
In her prime, yes, the prime.
Wow.
The prime Mariah.
Right, prime Mariah. And then we were comparing her sound to now.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's the same sound.
Mm-hmm.
But if we compare All I Want for Christmas, if we compare the one that she redid,
the pastel version too.
Pastel version too. Yes, as Adriel said last time. If you compare those two, they're quite different. We know it's Mariah.
Yeah.
We know it is our queen.
Queen of Christmas, to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think about aging, she clearly sounds different now. Kids, decades age later.
Yeah. So, Cherysh, based on that, what would be some additional factors you think may have caused her voice, for example? Because, she's probably one of the best examples because her voice change has been obvious and people are always commenting on it the industry. So, what would be some factors that would cause something like that?
I think lifestyle, most definitely. Lifestyle has a really significant part to play. Like if not, and when I say lifestyle, some people might go straight to like smoking and drinking, and that's not necessarily what I mean. Like if you're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, that was one thing that
most artists suffer from lack of sleep, especially when they're doing a lot of touring.
Yes.
Because CDs, albums not selling anymore. Artists getting the money from touring.
Yeah.
So when you're getting like an hour sleep, half an hour sleep, sometimes no sleep at all, and that's why acid reflux starts to act up a lot when you don't get enough sleep because
that is true.
You're working your throat muscles a lot when you're tired because you're not really breathing properly, right? So lifestyle, Well, of course, the like drinking, smoking would play a factor, but I think just constant use, and if you're not getting enough sleep.
Right, right. Would you say as well
Also,
poor
the way
technique?
in which that you sing
That was
too,
I was
poor,
not gonna
the way in poor technique as well, because as good as Adele has this very rich tone, but she's had to cancel tour dates and cancel tours altogether because she had to be surgery on more than one occasion. Sam Smith as well, and I remember reading this article. I can't remember. It was a I think it was either an ENT doctor or a vocal coach, and they were saying that as much as sometimes you could get away with doing a throat surgery and removing tonsils, but when it actually starts to get damaged because of the way that you sing, if your technique doesn't suit your vocal cords, you're gonna damage your vocal cords after a while.
So, Cherysh, quick question. So you're speaking as a professional musician / singer. If we were to truly try to describe how serious that could be, is it the same as perhaps comparing a professional singer to perhaps a professional athlete who in their craft they may have,
so like Usain Bolt kind of just sprints and then
but would you say that if an athlete were to use poor technique in their craft as a professional athlete, like imagine if Usain Bolt, I don't know, because I know there is such a thing as poor running technique.
Yes.
Is it safe to compare that sort of long-term damage from poor technique or doing something wrong when you look at an athlete and a singer? Do you think that's a good comparison?
In terms of use of a muscle from a general standpoint, yes.
Right.
However, I think that there are better options to rectify a torn muscle or a broken bone.
Right,
absolutely.
Right. It's more difficult with your voice.
The process of healing and the process of like physiotherapy, when you have to go through all that routine checkup so that's so good before you start back. That the ratio of that happening is good, as opposed to a vocalist probably having to remove one of their vocal cords because it's so badly damaged, or removing the tonsils. Some people, when you remove your tonsils, if the surgeon just happened to touch your vocal cords by a little bit, just by accident, that could destroy your
Julie
entire
Andrews
voice.
is a prime example of that. I think she had a vocal surgery done, and the reason why she can't sing anymore was the procedure.
So we're talking about the sound of music,
Julie Andrews. That's why she doesn't sing anymore.
It wasn't necessarily a personal choice. She could not sing anymore.
That's terrible.
Natalie Dessay, opera singer. She was one of the lucky people. But she had throat surgery. Like, there's a whole documentary on it on YouTube, going through the process of her coming back and doing her first show after going through the throat surgery and going through recovery and all of the warm-ups that she had to do and stuff. But yeah, Julie Andrews had a throat surgery and her voice didn't come back.
Right. So then, what advice would you give to vocalists, well, at least the up and rising ones, and maybe even the professional ones who may not be aware of the proper care,
just forgotten,
or who may have just forgotten a good way to take care of your voice? I know drinking lots of water is one, and I know the sleep. But what are some of the other things that you would recommend?
What about diet? I'm not talking about just
dairy, nuts, and that kind of thing.
Staying away from things. Of course, you always look, but you also have to pay attention to what you usually eat
in general.
So everybody knows the dairy products, the chips, the nuts, especially when you have a show coming up. Try to stay away from it.
No Doritos
also,
on them,
greasy stuff, oily stuff.
No fried chicken.
A lot of cold drinks. Spicy food. Lack of sleep,
things like it basically cause acid reflux and stuff.
Grapefruit, that sort of thing. If you know you're somebody that's suffers from acid reflux, there should be a specific diet that you should follow if you're a vocalist. Like a lot of people don't know that there are specific acid reflux tablets for vocalists. Because the percentage of the I can't remember the active ingredient, the actual name. I think Nexium is one of them.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those are there are a few ENT prescribed tablets that you can take that are made specifically for people that use their voice a lot. So some motivational speakers, singers, teachers, that sort of thing.
So Cherysh, let me ask you a question now. Given that you mentioned that there are ENT prescribed drugs for specific types of people, singers, people who speak a lot, would you say then that there are some ENTs that treat vocalists and like that is part of their area of expertise?
So ENTs that focus specifically on vocalists.
Well, maybe they don't necessarily focus on vocalists per se, but maybe their experience.
Like they cater to a lot of Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say that there's because I am not a doctor, so I don't want to talk mess on people.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But so I wouldn't say that there's a specific line of expertise where they deal with performers and like people that use their voice a lot alone. But there are like the ENT that I go to, Dr. Dwarka. He has a lot of clients that are artists.
Yes,
and probably directly recommended as well.
Most times he's specifically recommended for artists for them to go to proceed. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that he specializes for them alone, but I think with having regular clients of that vocation,
he's
maybe
picked up a thing
he
or
just
two.
knows he knows a little bit more.
That's important.
Interesting.
That's good. Because
but another thing as well, apart from diets and stuff, and I think a lot of vocalists still make this mistake, which in turn causes them to damage their voice. Find your own voice.
Trying to sound like somebody else.
Yeah. Sometimes
no shade. I don't think it's shade really intended here.
When I say find your own voice, I don't mean like stop. Like use not this person or that person. I mean, sing the person song. Like sing the Beyonce if you want to sing the Beyonce, but sing it like you.
Yeah.
Don't try to
sing it like
her.
Yeah.
Because even though it might sound amazing and you'll pull it off, but if after you set it exactly, if you set Listen from Dreamgirls the same way Beyonce do it and you sing it exactly how she sang it, and after you sing the song all in here hurting,
you know it's not for you.
That's not find your way to sing it. Because sometimes when you do that, you put more pressure on your vocal cords. Like I realize a lot of breathy singing is really in, and as much as I use it from time to time. In my sets, depending on what kind of event it is. But when you whisper, you put more pressure on your
vocal cords. Yeah, that's why they say don't whisper.
So if you have, so let's say you have 4 Billie Eilish. She have a very breathy voice. Although some of her jazz pieces are amazing.
Yeah.
But she has a really breathy voice. So if you have 4 Billie Eilish songs, and then right after that you have 3 Beyonce, and then right after that you have
2 Mariah.
Mariah or something. By the time you show done, your whole throat will be so swollen. The next day you'll want to know if you have tonsillitis or something.
Unless you are an absolute professional, maybe don't do that.
Because there are people that have like a serious bigger musicians, and they know what to do for their voice, and they know how to do their remedies and how to get their voice back on track. But I urge a lot of my students to just find your own voice, and that's something that I struggled with a lot when I was younger. find your way to sing the song. As much as you like if you want to do the same curls, sit down with the song and learn how to do the curls same way. But sometimes trying to do it exactly the way the artist did might do more damage
than good
to your vocal cords, even though it sounds amazing. If you're feeling that throat pain after, find another way to sing it. There has to be another way for you to perform it and perform it well without doing damage to your voice.
So Cherysh, using your own voice, it's not just a matter of making you look like a better artist. If you
I
use
think
your own voice,
it's
also
more
a
about
thing.
And it's also more about the fact that everybody's vocal cords is designed differently.
Yes.
There's no two people whose voice types are the same. We might have the same range of notes.
If you're somebody that's definitely wanting to go into like musical theater, Broadway, voice preservation is something that you really need to take seriously.
Absolutely.
Because they are belting and throwing the entire voice. 3 shows a day sometimes. If it's high season for Broadway, you have multiple shows.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're on swing, you have to be ready at all times. You have no moments where you can just break, because you can come backstage and say, hey, we need you on tonight, go and get ready.
Yes.
And you just have to be prepared.
Yeah. You
need to be able to slay at any time.
At any given moment. Wow.
Any given time.
I think we learned a lot here today.
We did.
And I mean, and the irony is that we 3 queens, ding 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 ding, we 3 are vocalists.
No, I'm not a vocalist. I just sing.
One day I will just meet. Thank you. I was not going to meet Louise and just turn on the mic and be like, send her home, please. Send her home.
So, quick question, though, Cherysh. So we've spoken about staying away from the dairy, staying away from certain foods when you know you're going to perform.
What we could eat.
Well, not just that, but what about things like regular exercise? What about regular exercise?
Cardio.
Overall, it helps you breathe better. And it helps you breathe better. Cardio, jogging, jump rope, treadmill, those sort of exercises. It's actually really good, not necessarily when you're running, but if you're doing like a brisk walk, like a power walk, it's good to do like some hums, some full breath and some hums while you're doing it. That I try to do that sometimes. You don't always do it.
By hums, you mean something basic like something.
And
that's cool.
But because your body is in motion, it kind of forces you to take fuller breath.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically like oxygenating your body. That's what cardio does.
Right.
So for example, they say, no, I'm not making any claims here, but they do say if you do sprints, that's the fastest way to regain your cardiovascular health than just going straight for a run. And the reason is because you put your lungs under more pressure quickly.
So like do a series of short sprints.
20-30 meters if you can.
Right.
In sets of 10. You'll be surprised how much faster you get each and every single time.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. So the main idea I think I'm getting from this is, don't just take care of your voice, take care of your health too.
Yes.
And once you take care of your health, your voice will also be cared for as well.
Naturally, yeah.
I think a lot of performers, especially when you've been doing it a few years, you forget that.
Yeah, I agree.
That.
I could attest to that, because there are many times where on this podcast, for example, we're always talking, and you have to remember the proper way to talk, because that's also part of how you damage your voice.
Yes.
There are days when you do wake up after talking for hours on end, and you're like, why is my voice hoarse?
In fact, when I first started teaching small children, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
When I first started teaching small children, after my first day, I came home and my mom is looking at me, because I'm talking to her, and my mom is just looking at me weird, like, she's like, Louise, what is wrong with your voice? I'm like, what do you mean? Because I hear in my voice, she's like, Louise, you sound so hoarse. What were you doing today? And I was like, and I was like, but mommy, you know, because, she knew it was my first day of teaching at that school. And she was like, wait, so were you teaching music or were you screaming? You know? And the thing is, we often don't remember that even in professions that involve a lot of talking, teachers, I am talking to you all.
Yeah, especially the music teachers.
Especially music teachers, yeah. Because anything about music teachers is that we not
All
just
vocal
talking.
teachers,
Yeah,
of
we
course.
doing everything. We talking, we
We
teaching the thing, we
singing. Yeah.
singing, we playing the instruments, we doing the everything.
Yeah, we doing everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
We're very well all rounded.
Yeah. So take care of your body, rest your voice,
Yeah.
follow your doctor's orders. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
nice.
also be aware that when you do get older, your voice does change,
Mm.
and you just have to find ways. Like never stop learning your voice.
Find ways to adjust. So even if it means
Yeah.
changing the key of the songs that you perform to, because that's something that I've learned to do. Sometimes it's not the best idea to continue singing a song in the highest key.
Actually, I was watching a documentary about an opera singer,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was Dame Joan Sutherland.
Interesting.
Oh
So
yes.
I'm sure both anyone on this podcast who knows her name, you know that she's among the best.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
compared to Maria Callas. I know this isn't an opera podcast, but anyway, I was watching.
We digress.
I was watching a documentary about her, and she did say that as she got older, or rather, the narrator said that as she got older, like there's certain high notes.
That they don't exist.
Yeah, yes,
Trust me.
it's not that she's not as good of a singer,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
it-
No, I would like to argue that even if it is that you're well trained and you're such a good
Yes.
singer and you've had a professional career and
Yes.
professional training, it is possible to probably maintain some of those notes, but
the quality of those
the
notes will still change over time.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
will change.
I do
Well, I
think
guess
so.
that's why a lot of opera
It
singers
takes-
have coaches, even though
Yeah.
they've been doing it for years.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
have a coach that has been with them for years.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's always good to find new ways to make it work, because as the artist needs to know, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. I need to find a way to do this, and it has to have the same effect.
Right.
Like Celine Dion doesn't always sing all by myself in the studio, okay?
No.
Yeah.
In the Las Vegas
Yeah.
show. If you watch a decent amount of the renditions of that,
There's
she
all
doesn't always
Yes.
sing it in
No.
the same key.
No.
Yeah.
Because she knows her voice, and she knows that at some moments she might be able to do it, and other moments
Right.
it might happen. So
But here's the thing, though. I have to make this point. When your name is Celine Dion, your band behind you, if it's a live show, your band is also Celine Dion. So meaning, if you tell them 5 minutes before, bro, we can't do this in E flat today.
We're doing it
we
in
need
D.
to drop it to D.
Yeah,
Or we need to
yeah.
drop it to C sharp.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, no problem. Boom. But if you're a brand new singer, nobody know you from nowhere, chances are you have a track. What do you do then?
yeah.
Do you fight through it, or
No.
if you know,
No,
In a
I would say,
situation, okay, let's say you're at the gig, you're at the
Yes.
venue,
yes,
and
acapella for it.
all of a sudden you're warming up and you realize a
You're
couple
like-
notes not happening.
yes, they're just not gonna
In a
happen.
situation like that,
Yeah.
it's either you fight through it, honestly, or sing it a cappella. If you have
Acapella.
to. In a situation where you have
But if you have an instrument,
Instrumentalist
I was just
and
about to say,
song.
if you know your songs and you've been practicing it in like a couple of keys, drop it to a different key and you can play it
that is
yourself.
always
Yeah.
good. Like
Okay.
practice songs in different keys just in case.
Or what
Just in
about
case.
if we're going back to that Celine Dion example, all by myself. When she does that in the original key, it's do you see that all by
Yeah.
that good. But
It
if
just keep going up and up and up and up. And
yeah,
up.
but what advice would you give to a new artist who, maybe they're doing that same song and maybe for whatever reason they can't change the key? Would you recommend on the spot you make an artistic decision to do that riff a little differently? Is that advice
I
you
would
also
say so.
give to a singer? Okay, Cammy says.
I would say
I would
Yeah.
take
I
a vote
would
for that.
say yeah, you have a next song?
No, I
No,
agree with that.
no,
I agree
in
with
all
that.
honesty,
Mhm.
you see, it really depends
Mhm.
on the gig as well.
Mhm.
It depends on the gig, because that song is a showpiece.
Right. So
Like everybody is waiting to hear that part after Mark Ruster played that nice, sexy little piano part.
Yeah.
It's Mark Ruster. It's Mark Ruster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, is that his name? All right. So after he done played that little piano part, everybody is waiting
David
to
Foster,
hear that
yeah.
piece and then the big thing, and then the drums, and the all everybody's waiting for that.
Yeah.
That's a glitter piece.
see.
That's not necessarily a piece that you would sing in a wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
Or,
And well, you
right,
know,
or
that's not
on-
all by myself. It's not a wedding
No.
song.
No.
Yeah,
Really.
you wouldn't. That is these songs where it's like showstoppers, like I'm here from Color Purple. I will always love you from Whitney Houston.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
this song from Aretha Franklin, like it have a
So
couple
big
songs
major
that
sets, big shows.
specifically there to show off your voice.
Right.
I see.
So it really depends on the gig.
Right.
If it's a situation where you're just showing off your voice and you can't get that specific part out, it's not working, don't sing it. Because the audience response, if this is the particular song that we're talking about, the audience response is not going to be the same.
So
If you just if you have no other choice but to change that little part, you're gonna get okay.
Yeah. Because a
Why
lot of
should
it's
that?
basically like a signature song.
Yeah.
yes.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
I can't go and say I can answer Emotions by Mariah and I'm not gonna do the whistle notes in between. That's pointless because that's what the song is known for.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
why we like the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think
So
think
another piece
So,
of advice is
that's another thing.
So
Always
another
have a backup.
right.
Right.
So
If
if
you
it
have a
is
set, if your set is 10 songs, have 3 more just in case.
Yes.
You never know
Right.
what can happen.
just in case you realize, nah, Gil, that's silly not happening today. Let me choose something else.
we'll sit
right.
down and do an original.
So
One
part of
octave.
saving your
At
voice.
least three safety net songs. Also, if you're doing an original song as a new artist, put your original song in between. Don't put it at the beginning, don't put it at the end.
Noted.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's excellent advice.
Yeah. No, real talk. It's if you like somebody like Annalie Prime, who is very much everybody knows her, we've seen her, we've heard her, she has an amazing voice. She could start a whole show with and all of her new music.
Right.
But as an up and comer, you're now kind of starting. A few people know you. You still get your name out, and you're doing your first show. Start with a familiar song, or do your version of a cover.
Right.
Because
Makes
you
sense.
can
Makes
do a
sense.
cover
Makes
of a
sense.
cover.
Yeah.
You can do covers of covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing original music, put it in, and you know for sure a lot of people might not recognize you yet. Don't start your show
With originals.
with the original song.
Don't start your story with original.
If you do end up starting it with an original song, make sure that it's something that's really air and eye catching.
So it's upbeat
And-
and poppy kind of.
Yeah,
At
and
least it
not
engages
well,
the
it doesn't have to be
audience.
poppy, but just something that engages.
Right.
It has to
And-
grab them.
Start and end with the same original song.
It's wise.
So open up with the song and close off with the same song.
Right.
Okay.
So you see how I think Desi, when she was doing that tour, the Wanderer tour,
She
she
would
started
do
with
with-
power and ended with
with
power.
power,
I believe.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that. Something that's very like it pumping from the
Yes.
start to the beginning and end. But if you're a new artist and original music is something you're now starting to do, do start get set with an original song.
Well, you heard it
Nice.
from the professional.
Yes, heard it from the.
Some people might disagree. Yeah? There are people that might disagree, but from a vocalist standpoint, it will be easier to start with a song that people are familiar with.
Right.
And if people are
Warm up.
familiar with your music, then by all means, start with the original
Start
pieces.
with the original pieces. Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. I think we learned some significant things today, guys.
Yeah, it's not just about aging vocals either.
Yeah, but I think in part of that, it's all about the performance and learning to understand how to maneuver and recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses for sure.
Yes.
Cherysh, thank you for the information. Thank you for the
Yes.
enlightenment.
Thank you, Cherysh.
We figured out and we learned.
Yes, we did.
And we saw some features where some of us might just not perform again. Raise his hand.
No.
But
You want me to meet you after you threaten to meet me? I will meet you. Yes,
I can meet myself. I can meet myself. The board, the board
is
right there.
closer. Yes, the board is right.
Nonetheless, though, all the information, all the links and recommendations that Cherysh has made today, we'll put them in the description for the episode.
Yes,
Cherysh, tell them where we can find you, and I'm not sure as to what socials you want to share, but you could go ahead and share where they can find you.
Yes, in terms of finding
Well, I'm not on
you
Instagram right now. I made a personal decision to just take a little break.
Nice.
But
Nice.
my Facebook is still up. And right now I am a member of Tobago Performing Arts Company. So you could check any stuff that we're having coming up on our Instagram page, because we just started it yesterday.
Awesome.
And we do have a couple of stuff coming up soon.
Okay.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. So, Miss Cherysh La Touche, who once played Maria in Must Come See's production of West Side Story, randomly she's like, "Oh yes, by the way, I'm a member of the Tobago Performing Arts Company." Like, what? When were you gonna say this? I could have easily used that in my introduction, ma'am. Oh yes, by the way, I'm like, hello, no. This is big news because this remind me of the name of the entity again, because I don't think Tobago has ever had something like this.
Yeah, that's true.
No, they haven't.
What's it called again?
TPAC.
They have theater companies. They do have theater companies.
Yes, I know they have theater companies, but to say that this is
all around
yes.
Tobago Performing Arts Company.
Right, and this is under the auspices of the Tobago House of Assembly by chance?
Yes. And there is a
Cherysh, I hate you right now, bro. I could have well introduced you to that girl.
There's a theater leg, a dance leg,
oh, nice.
Film leg,
it's all around.
Soon to be music section as well.
Nice.
It's soon to be music section.
Okay, guys, the Tobago Performing Arts. What's that last word?
Company.
Please go and look for them on
Instagram.
Facebook. Facebook and Instagram, because
it have stuff coming up, and you would love it. That's all I could say.
Yes.
Definitely. Cherysh, thank you again for your time.
Cherysh, thank you again.
Forget Louise and her interruption there, but that's okay. It's all part of the show. Ladies and gents, as usual, all the information for each and every single episode is available on the website www.forthemostpartpodcast.com. I'm feeling like a real serious radio host here, but
that's fine.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and guys, we will see you and we will hear you on the next episode.